They handed her the rifle like it was borrowed courage. Cold metal. Too heavy. Too final. The desert was quiet in that fake way. Wind whispering over rocks. Dust clinging to sweat on her neck. She lay prone on the ridge. Heart tapping her ribs. Breath shallow, controlled, stolen seconds at a time. She smelled oil from the bolt. Gunpowder memory she never asked for. They said her name over the radio. Soft. Careful. "You're the only one with eyes on target." She swallowed. Her mouth tasted like pennies. "I am not a sniper," she thought. "I am a medic. I stopped bleeding. I don't cause it." Below her, the convoy crawled through the valley. 5 trucks. American flags dulled by sand. Then she saw the glint. A flicker on the far ridge. Steel catching sunlight. Her fingers tightened. Then loosened. 2,950 meters. The number echoed like a dare. The wind shifted. Left to right. Unforgiving. "Target confirmed," someone whispered. Her chest burned. She remembered hands she'd held together. Blood warm. Lives slipping away while she begged them to stay. She remembered the ones she couldn't save. The scope framed a man. Just a shape. Just heat and movement. "If I pull this, I can't take it back." The radio crackled again. "They're setting up." A child's bracelet hung from her wrist. Plastic beads. Pink. A good luck charm from home. Her finger found the trigger. Not squeezing. Resting. The man below raised his weapon. Her breathing slowed. 1. 2. This is wrong. This is necessary. The rifle kicked her shoulder. Hard. Honest. Sound ripped through the valley. She lost the target in recoil. Found him again. The figure collapsed. Silence followed. Thick. Heavy. Then shouting on the radio. Disbelief. Cheers breaking through fear. "You did it." Her hand shook. She couldn't feel her fingers. She rolled onto her back. Stared at the sky. Too blue. She waited to feel relief. It didn't come. Because far away, beyond the smoke and echoes, another movement caught her eye. Another glint. Another glint. Sharper this time. Closer. Her stomach dropped. The wind carried a smell of hot metal. Burned dust. Something electrical. She rolled back onto the rifle. Cheek pressed to stock. Skin scraped raw. "No," she whispered. Not again. The scope trembled with her pulse. 2 figures now. Not one. One kneeling. One standing. Talking. Pointing toward the convoy. They learned fast. Her radio exploded with voices. Too many. Too loud. Multiple contacts. "Where did they come from?" "Medic, can you still see them?" Medic. The word cut deeper than the recoil. She exhaled through her nose. Forced calm into shaking lungs. "I see them." Her voice sounded older than she felt. The standing man laughed. She could almost hear it. Mouth open. Careless. He raised something long. Tube-shaped. Her hands went numb. Not a rifle. Worse. Her shoulder ached where the stock had slammed her. Purple already forming. She adjusted elevation. Clicks like ticking seconds. The valley felt smaller now. Like it was closing in. A memory hit her hard. A different valley. Different sand. A stretcher. A boy with no shoes. Her hand shaking as she pressed gauze into a wound too big for hope. She blinked it away. Focus. The kneeling man looked up. Straight toward her ridge. Did he see her? Or feel her? Her breathing betrayed her. Too fast. "Take the shot," someone said. She didn't answer. Her finger hovered again. That terrible balance between saving and destroying. She felt the weight of every life behind her. And the one in front of her. The kneeling man stood, both of them moving now. She chose one. The rifle bucked again. Sound cracked the world open. Dust jumped near the target. Miss. Her heart slammed. Adjust, the voice snapped. Her hands moved on instinct. Training she never wanted. She fired again. The standing figure spun. Fell hard. The kneeling man vanished behind rocks. Her breath came out broken. Silence tried to return. Failed. The radio erupted. Direct hit. You saved us. Saved. She stared through the scope. Searching. Hunting. Her eyes burned. Then she saw it. Movement much closer than before. Too close for comfort. A shadow slipping between rocks. Her throat tightened. She realized something too late. She was no longer the one watching. She was no longer the one watching. The hairs on her arms lifted. Every instinct screamed. Someone else had learned her rhythm. The wind stopped. Too sudden. She scanned left. Nothing. Right. Nothing. Her radio went quiet. Not dead. Muted. That scared her more than screaming. Her breath fogged the scope glass. She wiped it with a trembling sleeve. The smell hit first. Sweat. Oil. Human. Too close. Her heartbeat pounded in her ears. Loud enough to give her away. I should move. Now. But moving meant standing. Standing meant silhouette. A rock shifted downhill. Soft. Careful. Someone trained. She slid the safety halfway. Stopped. If I fire blind, I die. If I wait, they live. Her shoulder screamed with every tiny adjustment. She thought of the convoy again. Engines idling. Soldiers joking too loud because fear hated silence. They thought it was over. Her throat tightened. She caught motion in her peripheral vision. A sleeve. Camouflage that didn't match the terrain. 30 meters. Maybe less. Too close for a sniper rifle. Her finger trembled. A voice whispered behind her. Low. Calm. Don't! Her blood turned to ice. She didn't turn. Didn't breathe. The voice was American. Her mind raced. Friend. Enemy. Mistake? A shadow stretched across her rifle. Her grip tightened until her knuckles burned. If you shoot, the voice said, they hear us both. Her jaw clenched. Who are you? She whispered. No answer. Only the sound of slow breathing. Right behind her. Her radio crackled back to life. Static. Then panic. They're moving again. Her eyes filled with tears she refused to shed. She realized the truth in a flash. The valley wasn't done with her. And neither was the rifle in her hands. Neither was the rifle in her hands. Her shoulder pressed harder into the dirt. Ground cold now. Unforgiving. The voice behind her shifted. A boot scraped stone. Too confident. If you're ours, she whispered. Say my name. Silence answered. Her pulse counted seconds. The convoy radio bled fear. They're flanking us. We need eyes. She closed one eye. Opened the other wider. The shadow moved closer. She felt breath on her neck. Warm. Human. A hand hovered near her shoulder. Not touching. Threatening to. She made a choice without thinking. Her elbows slammed back. Hard. A grunt exploded behind her. Surprised. Angry. She rolled. Dirt in her mouth. Rifle swinging wild. A figure loomed. Face half covered. Eyes burning with intent. American gear. Wrong posture. Not one of hers. They grappled. Knees. Elbows. Breath tearing out of lungs. The rifle clattered away. Metal ringing against stone. His knife flashed. Quick. Too practiced. She grabbed his wrist. felt tendons strain. "I didn't want this," she hissed. He smiled. "Just a little." "That makes two of us." A shot cracked in the distance. Then another. The valley erupted again. He shoved her down, boot on her chest, crushing air. Her fingers scrabbled in the dirt, found something hard, cold. The rifle sling. She yanked. He stumbled. Enough. She rolled free, gasps ripping her throat raw. They stared at each other. Two humans. One ridge. Too many graves between them. The radio screamed her call sign. She lunged for the rifle. He lunged too. Both hands closed on steel at the same time. Both hands closed on steel at the same time. The rifle twisted between them. Hot. Slippery with sweat. His grip was stronger. Desperate strength. Nothing left to lose. Her shoulder screamed. Muscle tearing. Teeth clenched so hard her jaw shook. "You don't know what you're holding," he growled. She met his eyes. Saw fear hiding behind anger. "I know exactly what it costs," she said. The radio kept screaming her name. Voices breaking. People she'd never see if she failed. He drove his knee forward. Air burst from her lungs. Stars exploded behind her eyes. She bit down on a scream. Wouldn't give him that. Her fingers slipped. Just for a second. Enough for him to wrench the rifle free. The barrel swung toward her. Too fast. Her world narrowed to black metal and choice. She lunged anyway. Hands on the barrel. Burning hot. The shot fired. The sound tore the ridge apart. The recoil knocked them both backward. She hit the ground hard. Sky spinning. Dust filling her mouth. Silence followed. Wrong. Too complete. She lay still. Waiting to feel pain. Waiting to feel nothing. Boots crunched nearby. Slow. Careful. She opened her eyes just enough to see a shadow fall across her face. The radio whispered her name again. And she didn't know which side would answer first. She didn't know which side would answer first. The shadow shifted. Blocked the sun. Her ears rang. High and thin. Like glass about to shatter. She tried to move her fingers. They answered. Barely. Good. Not dead yet. The man stood over her. Breathing hard. Uneven. The rifle lay between them. Barrel smoking. Judging them both. Stay down, he said. Voice strained now. Less certain. She tasted blood. Copper and dirt. Where did the round go? She asked. He didn't answer. That scared her. Far below, an explosion rolled through the valley. Deep. Angry. The convoy screamed over the radio. Someone yelling orders. Someone praying. Her chest tightened. If the shot went long. If it went short. The man looked toward the valley. Just for a second. She saw it then. Regret. That was enough. She rolled, grabbing the rifle. Pulled it to her shoulder on instinct alone. Pain flared white. She ignored it. The scope snapped into place. She saw fire. Smoke. A truck burning. And beyond it. Movement. Too familiar. The man behind her froze. Don't, he said again. Almost begging now. Her finger rested on the trigger. Not squeezing. Not yet. Below them, the valley held its breath. Below them, the valley held its breath. Heat shimmered off burning steel. Black smoke curled upward. The smell reached her even from the ridge. Rubber. Fuel. Fear. Her eyes stayed locked to the scope. She saw figures scatter. Some dragging the wounded. Some running the wrong way. American silhouettes. Too exposed. Her chest tightened until it hurt to breathe. I can end this, she whispered. Not to him. To herself. The man behind her shook his head. Slow. almost gentle. "You pull that," he said. "This valley never lets you go." Her hand steadied anyway. The wind returned. Soft, cruel. She read it like a language she never wanted to learn. Her mind flashed images she didn't invite. Hospital lights. Dog tags clinking. A folded flag pressed into shaking hands. She adjusted one last time. Tiny movement. Life-size consequences. The radio screamed again. "Weird hit. We need cover." Her jaw clenched. She felt the man step closer. Close enough that she could smell him. Soap. Dust. Home. "You were a medic," he said quietly. She stiffened. "How do you know that?" "Because you're hesitating." Her finger tightened. Just a fraction. The scope framed the target perfectly now. Too perfectly. The valley roared back to life. Gunfire. Shouting. Chaos refusing to wait. Her breath caught halfway in. And for one frozen heartbeat, the world balanced on the weight of her trigger finger. The world balanced on the weight of her trigger finger. Her heartbeat slowed. One beat. Then another. The man behind her stopped breathing. She felt it. In the scope, the target turned. Not running. Not firing. Looking. She saw his face clearly now. Too young. Sweat cutting lines through dust. Her mind screamed. This is wrong. This is war. The wind dropped. Perfect stillness. She remembered a voice from long ago. A patient on a table. Barely alive. "Don't let me go!" Her finger tightened. The rifle answered. The sound rolled across the valley like thunder. Recoil slammed her shoulder. Pain exploded. She welcomed it. Through the scope, the figure collapsed. Hard. Final. The valley erupted. Shouts. Gunfire fading. Orders snapping sharp and fast. The radio broke into cheers. Relief spilling everywhere at once. She didn't join them. Her hands started shaking too late. Violent now. Uncontrollable. Behind her, the man sagged. Dropped to his knees. "It's done," he whispered. She rolled away from the rifle. Stared at the sky again. Still too blue. Smoke drifted upward. Slow. Lazy. Her radio called her a hero. The word felt foreign. She closed her eyes. Not to rest. To keep from seeing what she'd just become. To keep from seeing what she'd just become. The ground vibrated beneath her. Vehicles moving. Survivors regrouping. Her radio buzzed with commands now. Clean. Professional. Too late. She sat up slowly. Every joint screaming. The man behind her was still on his knees. Head bowed. Hands empty. Blood darkened his sleeve. Not hers. "You hit him," she said. He nodded once. Didn't look up. "Not who I meant to," he replied. Her stomach dropped. The wind shifted again. Carried a sound uphill. Crying. Not shouting. Not orders. A single voice. Thin. Broken. She froze. That didn't come from the convoy. She lifted the rifle again. Not aiming. Listening. The crying stopped. Then footsteps. Running. Her pulse spiked. The man behind her laughed softly. A hollow sound. "You think it ends with one shot?" She turned on him. Anger flaring hot and sudden. "Get up," she said. He didn't. Instead, he looked past her. Eyes widening. Her instinct screamed before her mind caught up. She spun. 3 shapes crested the ridge line. Fast. Armed. Too close. Her radio screamed warning she already knew. She raised the rifle. Hand shaking again. One of the figures shouted her name. She didn't recognize the voice. The distance closed fast. And she realized with cold certainty that the longest shot she'd ever take might be the one she couldn't afford to miss. Might be the one she couldn't afford to miss. The three figures spread out. Trained. Deliberate. Not rushing. Not afraid. Her lungs burned as she sucked in air. "Friendly," one of them shouted. Too fast. Too late. Her finger hovered again. Always hovering. She searched for markers. Patches. Signals. The smoke twisted everything. Lies made of heat and dust. The man on his knees laughed again. Sharper this time. "They won't shoot you," he said. "They want you breathing." Her eyes flicked back to him. Just for a heartbeat. That was enough. A rifle cracked from somewhere below. Not hers. Rock exploded inches from her face. Stone cut her cheek. She dropped flat. Rolled. Cursed. The ridge was no longer safe. No place was. Her radio screamed. "Get down!" "Who's firing?" She crawled, dragging the rifle like an anchor. Every movement loud in her head. The figures closed in. Boots pounding now. No more pretending. She smelled cordite. Fresh. Her mind split into pieces. Angles. Cover. Who bleeds first? She pressed her back to a rock. Chest heaving. A shadow loomed again. Different. Bigger. A voice shouted orders in a language she didn't understand. Her hand steadied in spite of everything. She leaned out. Just enough. The scope found a chest. Then another. Too close for math. Too close for mercy. Someone screamed her name again. From the radio. From the ridge. From memory. She didn't know which one to answer. The trigger met her finger once more. And the valley leaned in. Ready to see. Who she would save next. Who she would save next. Her breath hitched. The rifle felt heavier than before. The nearest figure stumbled into view. Face streaked with ash. Eyes wide. He shouted again. Words lost to gunfire and wind. She saw the patch then. American. Real. Her finger froze. Behind him, another shape moved. Lower. Faster. Wrong angle. Wrong intent. Time fractured. She screamed into the radio. "Get down!" The warning came out broken. A shot cracked. Not hers. The friendly dropped. Hard. Blood bloomed dark against tan fabric. Her chest tore open with it. "No!" she breathed. The third figure turned toward her. Rifle rising. No patch this time. No confusion. Just certainty. Her body moved before her mind caught up. Training overriding grief. She fired. The recoil punched her again. She stayed up. The figure fell backward out of sight. Silence rushed in. Ragged. Incomplete. Her ears rang. She scrambled forward on hands and knees. Reached the fallen soldier. His eyes were open. Unfocused. She dropped the rifle. Tore off her gloves. "Stay with me," she said. Blood soaked her palms. Warm. Too familiar. The man on the ridge laughed once more. Then stopped. She didn't look back. The radio crackled with frantic relief. "Area secure." She pressed harder on the wound. Hands shaking. The soldier's lips moved. Trying to say something. She leaned closer. The valley was quiet again. And she didn't know if the next sound she would hear was a breath returning, or the echo of another shot, or the echo of another shot. His breath rattled. Wet. Wrong. "Hey," she said softly. Voice steady because her hands were not. She packed the wound. Hard. Deeper than comfort. Blood kept coming. Too much. "Stay with me," she said again. A promise. A lie. His eyes found hers. Just barely. In my squad, he whispered. I know, she said. I know. Footsteps rushed closer now. Shouts. Orders snapping into place. She didn't look up. The world narrowed to her hands. Pressure. Counting seconds by heartbeats. Someone grabbed her shoulder. Gentle. Firm. Medic, a voice said. We got him. Medic. The word hit her harder than recoil ever did. She let them pull her back. Reluctant. Angry. The soldier disappeared into other hands. Other chances. She stood there swaying. Rifle forgotten in the dirt. Smoke thinned. The valley exhaled. The man who had crept up on her was gone. No body. No blood. Just disturbed dust where he'd knelt. Her radio crackled one last time. Command wants you extracted. She looked down at her hands. Red. Shaking. Far off, another distant crack echoed. Too far to place. Too close to ignore. She lifted her head slowly. Because somewhere out there, someone else was lining up a shot. She felt it in her spine. That quiet pressure before impact. The sky dimmed as smoke drifted higher. Sunlight filtered through gray like a warning. Move, someone said near her ear. She didn't. Her eyes searched the ridgelines again. Left. Right. Patterns inside chaos. The rifle was back in her hands before she remembered picking it up. Familiar now. Hated. Her radio hissed. Sniper possible. Of course. She dropped to a knee. Ignored the protest in her shoulder. The scope came up. Everything slowed. She scanned for the mistake. The impatience. The breath out of sync. Then she saw it. A shimmer where there shouldn't be one. Heat bending wrong. She tracked it. Measured without numbers. This time, she didn't think about flags. Or orders. Or what it would make her. She thought about hands shaking over a wound. About a voice asking not to be let go. The shimmer shifted. Her finger tightened. And somewhere far away, another finger did the same. Another finger did the same. She felt it like a mirror. Two breaths sinking across distance. The world narrowed to glass and light. She eased pressure. Not yet. Her pulse thudded in her jaw. Countable. Controllable. Wind slid across the ridge. Barely there. A liar's breeze. The shimmer steadied. Waiting. She tasted smoke and salt. Tears she refused to shed. Cover me, someone said on the radio. Too loud. Too close. She cut the channel. Silence returned like a held breath. The ridge felt exposed now. Her skin prickled. She adjusted a hair. Then stopped. A memory rose uninvited. Late nights. Fluorescent lights. A monitor flatlining while she counted compressions. Not again. The shimmer twitched. A shoulder. A cheek. She saw an eye. Calm. Certain. Her chest tightened. This one knew patience. She shifted her weight. Gravel whispered betrayal. Her jaw set. She thought of the bracelet. Pink beads clacking softly against bone. She slowed her breathing. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. The valley went still. Too still. The shimmer leaned into the shot. Her finger found the wall. Stopped. A radio crackle broke the spell. A scream. A name. She flinched. The shimmer didn't. And in that split second, as the distance collapsed and the choice burned hot, she realized the next sound she heard would decide who went home, and who became another story told in whispers. Another story told in whispers. The scream cut off mid-breath. Silence slammed down harder than any blast. Her finger trembled. Not from fear. From control. The shimmer moved first. A flash. Tiny. Deadly. She felt the round before she heard it. Air snapping past her cheek. Heat without fire. Rock exploded behind her head. Shards rained down. She rolled instinctively. Heart wild now. No more calm. The ridge betrayed her position. "Sniper down!" someone shouted. Wrong. She crawled, dragging the rifle. Shoulders screaming. Lungs burning. Another shot cracked. Closer. The enemy was walking it in. She pressed flat against the dirt. Smelled blood again. Hers this time. Her radio burst alive. "Get out of there! Air inbound!" Too late. The shimmer disappeared. Gone like it was never there. That scared her most of all. She knew that trick. She'd just used it herself. Her bracelet snapped. Beads scattering across stone. Pink lost to dust. Something heavy landed nearby. Boots. Friendly voices. Shouting. She didn't look up. Her eyes stayed locked on the far ridge. Waiting. Because she knew the truth now. The shot that mattered most was still waiting to be taken. Still waiting to be taken. The air throbbed with rotor noise now. Distant. Closing. Dust lifted in nervous spirals. Hands grabbed her vest. Pulled. Dragged her backward. "Move!" someone yelled. She resisted. Planted herself like a nail in the ridge. "Not yet," she said. Her voice surprised her. Calm. Commanding. She felt it again. That pressure. That knowing. The other sniper wasn't gone. Just patient. She raised the rifle one last time. Ignored the blood on her cheek. The scope swept slowly. Methodical. Personal. She searched for absence instead of movement. There. A shape that didn't belong. A shadow without a source. Her breath steadied on its own. Below, the convoy began to move. Engines roaring. Lives depending on momentum. "Now!" she whispered. The shadow sharpened. Her finger rested on the trigger. Not pulling. Listening. The helicopter thunder grew louder. A countdown she didn't ask for. She felt hands tug at her again. Urgent. Desperate. "Now or never!" someone shouted. She didn't answer. Because through the scope, she saw the shadow shift its weight. Lean in. And she knew, with absolute, terrifying clarity, that whoever fired next would not get another chance. Whoever fired next would not get another chance. She let the world fall away. No convoy. No ridge. No voices pulling at her gear. Just breath. And balance. The shadow leaned. So did she. The shot came. Not from her rifle. A thunderclap split the sky as the helicopter crested the ridge. Rotor wash tore the dust apart. The valley screamed. The shadow vanished in chaos. No second flash. No answer shot. She lowered the rifle slowly. Carefully. Like setting down something alive. Her legs finally gave out. Hands caught her. Strong. Certain. She felt herself lifted. Carried away from the ridge. Below, the convoy rolled on. Bent. Scarred. Alive. In the helicopter, the noise faded into a dull roar. Someone rapped her shoulder. Someone pressed water to her lips. "You're safe now," a voice said. She didn't answer. She stared out the open door. At the valley shrinking beneath them. She thought of the shot that saved them. And the one she never took. The bracelet beads were gone. But the mark they left was still there. As the ridge disappeared into distance, she finally exhaled. Not in relief, but in acceptance. Because she understood now. She was still a medic. She had just learned that sometimes saving lives meant carrying the weight of the ones you never get to meet again.